It is this government's goal and objective to actively promote TVET and to ensure that it becomes the preferred choice of the Ghanaian youth.
That is why the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has given priority to transformation in the TVET space. He looks at education as a means to an end. He believes that for education to play its rightful role in the transformation of our economy and our society, you need to transform education first, and that is why TVET is being transformed.
The backbone of every economy lies in its manufacturing and industrialization. By combining the skills of head and hand, Ghana is on the road to transformation. Through the efforts of the Ghana Education Trust Fund, GETFund, in collaboration with the Commission for Technical and Vocational Education and Training, TVET, other state agencies and global stakeholders, the building blocks of the new economy are being laid by prioritizing technical and vocation education.
The government's initiative included a special infrastructure for TVET to make it appear like the second cycle general education structures, with additional innovations like the equipments, modern machines that are abreast with modern skills that we want to introduce in our ways, and even making all things better.
As the government is looking at parity to have 50% of our Ghanaian learners go to TVET, that means that the amount of funds that is going to TVET also has to increase. It costs 4 to 5 times the amount of money one needs to train a skilled person.
Technical and vocational education and training, TVET, has been identified as the driver to an expanded jobs market in manufacturing, as well as new entrepreneurship opportunities in both the formal and informal sectors by empowering individuals with the necessary skills for employment and economic growth. GETFund has made a positive impact here, focusing on infrastructure development and skills education.
The thinking came that government should now emphasize the idea of vocational education, because most of the general education products are unemployed, and they are also getting certain skills that are not employable. In order to make them more employable, and in other words, to benefit from their education, we have to provide more facilities for technical education and try to shape the thinking of the students so that they will choose of technical education, vocational education.
Then also we've seen a good collaboration in the provision of infrastructure is happening in other sectors. I know there are other concessional loans and funds that are being used to support the huge TVET transformational agenda that government is embarking on. But in addition to this loans that the government has secured to support TVET infrastructure, we've also seen some funds coming through from GETFund to support TVET infrastructure.
At that time of this 5-year development plan, we had a lot of challenges. At the same time, the free SHS policy had been ruled, and contractors also had their IPCs, that's their payment certificates, at the fund. And we had to find a way in order to find money to fund these projects. So we look out for an innovative way of financing, and that is what we call the securitization, which went through the board and it went to cabinet and then later on to parliament, and then parliament approved for the fund to go onto the bond market and then raise up to the cedi equivalent of $1.5 billion, which been able to get about 2.5 billion Ghana cedis. That is what we've used for the infrastructure, payment of the contractors.
Recognizing the importance of modern and well-equipped facilities for effective TVET, GETFund has invested heavily in constructing and renovating technical institutions and vocational training centers across Ghana. From north to south, infrastructural upgrades are being implemented, creating an environment conducive to experiential learning and skill development.
Notable among these support or collaboration is the provision of funds to procure and install amateur equipment in technical universities. Then also the GETFund has been giving administrative financial support every year to augment what we get from IGF and from the Ministry of Education.
Currently, under the infrastructure development, the board of GETFund approved for the award of 5 new TVET centers. And so far, we spent about 180 million in respect to the construction of those TVET centers. These are very state-of-the-art and it's the first of its kind.
Since September 2018, when contracts were signed, 5 TVET training centers have been earmarked, with the centers at Pechi No. 2 in the Ashanti region and Enyinem in the Eastern region nearly ready for delivery. 3 more sites at Akomadan in the Ashanti region and Asenjakai in the Central region are also at various stages of completion. Each center is a state-of-the-art complex comprising fully equipped classrooms, laboratories, workshops, and staff rooms, with a focus on food processing, renewable energy, ICT, electronics, garment and tailoring, autotronics and automechanics, automation and mechatronics, among many other globally competitive fields.
I've been to the Pechi No. 1, I've been to Enyinem, and they all have their unique features. Apart from the structure being there, it's made in such a way that every locality has something unique to it. When you go to the Pechi No. 2, apart from the electrical engineering, one of them will have jewelry because that area has mining centers around there. So artisans will be trained in jewelry making, which is first of its kind in Ghana.
Through the GETFund scholarship scheme, we have elevated the quality of skills education in Ghana. At both the secondary and tertiary levels, Ghanaian youth have been able to access funding for TVET training in new and existing institutions.
The scholarship came as government policy in trying to support the TVET. A group of people applied through the fund and through the TVET sector, and they were awarded scholarship to support their training.
We are implementing one project. They provided some support to what government has already budgeted for in terms of the counterpart funding, the Ghana TVET voucher project. That fund did also give support to that.
The Ghana TVET voucher program, GTVP, is a €22 million partnership under the Ghanaian German Financial Development Corporation, co-financed by the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, the KfW Development Bank, and the Government of Ghana through the GETFund and the Ministry of Education. This will enable students to receive skills relevant to today's economy through practical training, internships, and apprenticeships as part of the curriculum, and thus bridging the gap between academia and industry. Crucially, continuous capacity building initiatives, training programs, and workshops are being funded, ensuring that educators are constantly being equipped with the latest industry trends and teaching methodologies. Operational in 11 out of 16 regions in Ghana, GTVP is being implemented in 160 centers involving 98 training institutions. The results are impressive. So far, nearly 20,000 Ghanaians have benefited from this partnership. The impact is already being felt.
A lot of the technical universities got equipment. There were workshops that were built for some of the technical universities for training of manpower, and it's very nice when you go and you see those new state-of-the-art equipment. And as a fund manager, I'm always glad when I see that I can associate myself with these infrastructure and then the equipment that the technical universities have.
In the words of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we want to emphasize the importance of TVET and redeem the misconception that technical and vocational education is inferior and patronized only by less endowed students. The GETFund is driving the transformation of the economy by equipping the next generation of Ghana's workforce with the skills needed to remain not only relevant, but also to change the fortunes of their families, communities, and the nation.